A big thanks to my server's parental and local crownie dealer, Rue, for writing this sweet fanfic. You can find them in the link down below. Tamaki! You called, running through Heights Alliance to meet up with a timid boy who flinched at your call. The two of you were classmates, bonding through your mutual friend, Neijire Hado. It was hard to explain how you two started to talk, seeing as you were more confident and outgoing than Elfie, as you nicknamed him a few months ago, and he was the shyest boy you had ever met, with the exception of Koda from 1A. You kinda just clicked, and you were more than fine with that. Yes? Tamaki stammered, turning to face you, though not making eye contact. He was visibly shaking, causing you to smile softly. I'm sorry. Did I scare you? You asked, tilting your head. He turned and faced the wall, covering his face. A bit. Don't worry. I'll just imagine you as a bunny. The purple-haired boy mumbled. You giggled, reaching out and rubbing his back. He relaxed under your touch, though kept his face covered. Take your time. Just say when you're ready to talk, okay? I just wanted to ask you a question. Amajiki tensed once more, turning so you faced his back. Are you gonna ask me to leave you alone and never talk to you again? You want to hang out with someone more positive and happy, like Mirio, right? His dejected comment caused you to sigh quietly, before walking forwards and hugging him from behind. Elfie, don't assume things. You know I would never leave you. I just wanted to ask if you wanted to come and bake something with me. So much has been happening lately, I wanted to make something sweet. You hummed, squeezing him. Oh. You could hear the embarrassment in his voice, only causing you to giggle once again. That's fine, I guess. Yay! You cheered before grabbing his hand, the two of you walking to the kitchen on the bottom floor. Tamaki couldn't explain the feelings he had for you. Anytime you were around, his heart always seemed to double its beat and caused his face to heat up. For the longest time, he associated it with his usual anxiety that triggered around people. But after a talk with both Mirio and Neijire, he knew it was a crush. The thought terrified him. Then again, so did pretty much everything. Hurry up, Elfie! You whined as you dragged him along, him just now noticing how your hands were interlocked. He squeaked and ran ahead of you, the roles now reversed. Too much hurrying! The two of you arrived rather quickly, you immediately getting to work while Tamaki stood there, awkwardly. What should I do? He mumbled, glancing behind him in case anyone decided to come in. Oh, right. You turned around, grinning sheepishly as you put down the bag of flour in your hands. Over on the counter, there's my phone. Can you pull up the recipe? It's in my gallery. He nodded, walking over and picking up the device. The casing was one of your favorite characters with a colored background and random photos and words scattered about. Aesthetic is what you called it, as he didn't dive into social media that much. The thought of people commenting on what he says, looks, or does anytime he posted made his anxiety rise to unbelievable levels. What's the password? Tamaki asked quietly, looking up at you. It was an arrow code. How strange. Neutral, up, right, neutral, down, right. You smiled as you began to set a random time on the oven, humming a small tune afterwards. He nodded, tapping the arrows in the order you gave and looking back up at you again. What are we even making? He had forgotten to ask earlier, the thought making him tense up. You giggled in response, having an almost too large array of ingredients on the kitchen island. See for yourself, dummy, you teased, causing him to look away again. Am I that dumb? You paused, eyes widening before you raised your hands, shaking them vigorously as if to enunciate your speech. No, you're very smart, Tamaki. I was only teasing. He blinked as he looked at you again. Were you worried? Oh. He mumbled quietly before looking back to your phone, opening the gallery, then the folder named Baking. It was kinda cute, but he couldn't focus on that. The first one, right? Mm-hmm. You hummed, seeming to have calmed down from earlier. Brookies? Tamaki asked as he opened the recipe, blinking at the name. Yeah, I call them crownies because they're the ruler of desserts. But they're basically brownie-like treats with cookie mix in them, you explained, walking over and sliding beside him, causing him to blush. So close. It looks complicated, he noted, trying to ignore how your arm pressed against his. You laughed, going onto your tippy toes and ruffling his already semi-messy hair. That's why you're here, Elfie. Come and save me from the stress of this complicated recipe. You fell dramatically, causing the purple-haired boy to drop your phone to catch you. Tamaki's arm wrapped around your waist as he pulled you up, eyes wide from fear of you actually hitting your head. He knew you had unbelievable balance and power, and certainly didn't underestimate you. He often caught himself staring at you during training sessions, but the fear of you hurting yourself overwhelmed him. His grip tightened, just a bit. Tamaki? Your voice caused him to snap back to reality, quickly realizing how close the two of you were. Your chests were touching. I'm sorry. His heart pounded, quickly righting you before almost leaping back, covering his face. I'm sorry. Tamaki. Your voice caused him to falter, peeking out through his hands. Calm down. It's okay. I promise. You gently took his hands and pulled them away from his face, rubbing soothing circles into the palm. He stared at you, a heavy blush coating his pale complexion. After the blush-inducing scenario, the two of you began to actually start to bake, Tamaki working on the dry ingredients while you worked on the wet. It would be a lie to say you weren't thinking of how he held you only a few minutes prior, mind quickly wandering off from the task at hand. Listener! You jolted as you felt something cold splash your hand, looking down to see the overwhelming bowl of now mainly milk. You squeaked, setting down the carton and grabbing the bowl, pouring it down the sink. Damn it, what a waste, you mumbled. Tamaki frowned before grabbing a rag from one of the various drawers around, walking over and cleaning up the excess for you. Tama, you don't need to. I don't mind. Do you need help with remaking it? He looked back at you, his expression soft. You felt your heart skip a beat. No, but thank you. You grinned, any past annoyance forgotten as you placed the bowl back, beginning to remake the mixture. Tamaki leaned on the counter next to you, having finished his. You felt bad to have him wait, but you also didn't want to rush and threaten to botch the batter. You must really like sweet things, the purple-haired boy commented, causing you to pause. Yeah, they taste good, but I also want to make something to share with others. Everyone's been working so hard recently. I think they deserve a treat. Out of the corner of your eye, you could see a small smile on Tamaki's lips. You're so caring. You fully faltered this time, feeling the warmth return to your cheeks. Tamaki rarely directly complimented anyone, as far as you knew. He would usually stumble or give up and hide. Him saying that. You and Tamaki both jumped as the oven beeped, notifying the both of you that it was done preheating. You exhaled, quickly whisking the final ingredients in the wet mixture before walking over to the mixer on the counter behind you. Grab your bowl, Tamaki. Time to mix. You hummed. To be honest, you felt bad for not replying to his compliment, but you were unsure of what to say. Luckily, the purple-haired boy didn't seem to mind, bringing over the bowl and beginning to dump the contents inside. You turned on the mixer to a medium setting, pouring in the wet ingredients bit by bit, until you felt warm hands cover yours, gripping the bowl. Pour slower. Don't spill. Tamaki's voice caused you to falter. He sounded so calm, comforting. You weren't sure if this was a result of your feelings for him, or he was just really good at calming people, even if they weren't stressed. Either way, you felt your body relax, pouring in the contents slower and minimizing the mess. The mixer worked, and the two of you just watched. Amajiki's hands were still over yours as you held the main bowl, his head resting on top of yours. You were honestly quite impressed with how he wasn't freaking out, until you felt his body completely lean against you. "Tamaki!" you cried, pretty much pinned to the counter. The boy had fallen asleep, which was both impressive and terrifying. Due to your arms being the only thing keeping you from falling forwards and digging your stomach into the counter, you couldn't exactly move him. "Tamaki!" you whined loudly, trying to push up and get him off you. But that... No, never. Oh my god. Your face flushed at the thought, causing you to shift your arms and, promptly, fall forwards. Your head hit the mixer, the counter jabbing your stomach before you fell back. Pain radiated from your head, and your breath had been effectively stolen from your lungs. You squeezed your eyes shut, sending a silent prayer to your family in hopes that they wouldn't laugh at you for dying while making crownies, when a warmth enveloped you. "Listener!" Tamaki cried, and you opened your eyes. He was holding you close once again. However, both of you were on the ground. Your face was buried in his chest, his arms around your back, holding you up. "Are you okay?" "Guess I'm really falling for you. Huh." You giggled, your voice muffled from being buried in his hoodie. The line was cheesy, admittedly, but it fit. He lowered you to the ground, eyes still glimmering with worry. However, a noticeable blush coated his pale complexion. You smiled softly, absent-mindedly reaching up and caressing his cheek. "Sincerely. Thank you, Elfie." You watched the concern in the purple-haired boy's eyes turn into something softer, his hand catching yours and enveloping it into his own. He bit his lip, looking away. He was... nervous? Why? "You have something on your face," he mumbled. You couldn't process what happened next, breath hitching as his lips fell over yours. Warmth spread throughout your face as your eyes fluttered shut, kissing back gently. It wasn't passionate, but it wasn't awkward either. Soft, full of unsaid love. The two of you pulled away after a minute or so, looking away. The room was quiet, both of you flustered beyond imaginable. Should we go back to making crownies?" you asked sheepishly. "Yeah,"